Good afternoon. Wander around the internet as I do. Tom the Wedner, the conversationalist. Hope everybody's doing good. Like, subscribe, comment something nice to me. I'm sensitive today. Share this, please. Let other people know that there's a bigger idiot than them out there. All right, so as I'm cruising around on X. See, not Twitter, but X. Yeah, get it right. Oh, we got Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's always lively. Let's see, Senator Mayorkas worked for dark money NGOs to finance the illegal alien invasion of America. Truly? Like, this hasn't been going on for, never mind. This is an act of treason. She likes that word. She throws it around in every interrogation they let her part of. And that's what she does. She interrogates, but she sometimes comes up with funny stuff. I led the House to impeach Mayorkas. Not even Mr. Mayorkas. Never mind. But the Democrats, led by the Senate President Kamala Harris, refused to hold the trial to remove him from office. Horror of horrors. Gambling? There's gambling going on here? All right, let's see what she has to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayorkas, we do not have a country without a secure border, and we cannot have a safe country. We cannot protect our own democracy without protecting our elections. That is a
1 minute. You know where I'm going. It's not a democracy, sweetheart. I know. I'm educating you, but you pledge allegiance to the republic, not the democracy. There's subtle difference, and I understand why people confuse this point. But for God's sakes, learn the government that you are getting paid to represent. A democracy. I would like this. Never mind.
the fact. The open border is the #1 issue across America in poll after poll.
Okay, I don't know what polls you're reading. I don't care because I don't believe in polls. But for crying out loud, look around Washington, D.C. when you're there for the 3 days a week. Look in your own district. The people on the street, like 60% of them are veterans. Do you understand? You're quoting polls by people who have never been in the streets. At most, they just call everybody. And when they don't get an answer, they just fill it in themselves. Do you understand how these polls work? By human error or human input. And it's not always the person that you're talking to. All right, come on, Marjorie, come. Let's go down this mystery route again.
And that is exactly why this committee impeached you. Mr. Secretary, the Oversight Project released a bombshell report last night on your connection to the dark money NGO industrial complex of illegal immigration. I know you saw this from one of my colleagues just earlier. They found flyers throughout the Resource Center, Matamoros refugee camp in Mexico, telling illegal aliens, reminder to vote for President Biden when you are in the United States. We need another 4 years of his term to stay open. Eyewitnesses saw the flyers also being handed out to migrants who were using RCM for assistance in coming to the United States. In an audio recording, the founder of RCM, Gabby Zavala, by the way, we maybe should subpoena her to the committee, agreed that they need to help as many people as possible before President Trump gets reelected.
Okay. For everybody that doesn't speak governese, this strange language that once these people, they probably take a 2-week course when they get there. It's kind of like acronyms, LMAO or LOL. But they have a different way of speaking, and they use all these 3-letter abbreviations, and they point to things that don't exist, and you don't fact check them like I do. But I believe, I think, and somebody can fact check me on this, that one of the CIA tactics for stirring up problems in countries, including ours, is to falsify leaflets and put them in the names of their so-called enemies. So are we sure that this leaflet is even at least authentic? And if it is, let's go back somehow and find, excuse me, folks, but I have an interruption from people who don't know how to turn their phones off and leave them on my desk. All right. In other words, everything she said, I can't believe she can substantiate any of it, except for Freddie Mowitsky in Illinois in his mother's basement, who typed this up, put it on the internet, and she ran with it.
Gets reelected. RCM is an operation that houses functions for the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, which helps migrants enter the United States. And you're familiar with their work. We know that you served as a former board member of this group that funds illegal immigration. And they're very proud of you, Mr. Secretary. They congratulated you on your nomination. You worked as a board member of an NGO that is working in conjunction with other NGOs, which are not only financing the invasion of the country, but also telling illegal aliens to vote in the United States elections. They are telling illegal aliens, non-citizens, to come vote for Joe Biden. That's your boss.
Okay. So let's go off to Disney World, right? We've been waiting for 2 hours to get on this ride, and let's get on the ride. Let's take off into the wild blue yonder. Let's say for once she's right. All these things fall into space and time and continuum, like Rod Sterling used to say. And everything you say with the NGOs and supporting other NGOs and their ties to Israel funding, I'm pretty sure that's what she said. We can back it up if you want, but she did say that. So all these people from the Middle East, I'm talking about people controlling this, have homes in the Middle East and in Venezuela, Costa Rica, Brazil. And this group is getting people to come this real long, arduous way to come into our country. And then we're using them to manipulate the vote. I am shocked. You think that our government or Mr. Mayorkas or the FBI or the CIA would not know about this and be there like a knight from Templar and hold the wall against all invaders. Am I wrong? Let's face it. You know about the story about the Templar Knights. Everybody learned that when I was going through school because it was about bravery and standing the wall and fighting the Christian cause, which they were wrong, but they did do a good fight for it.
This is corruption at the deepest level. As a matter of fact, I would call it treason. It's treason because these people have declared war on our citizens by raping our women, our children, and murdering people. Like Laken Riley, you're familiar with her, right?
Congressman Art Briggs.
Are you familiar with Laken Riley?
I am familiar with the case.
You should have deported her so that she could be alive today. Her parents would have appreciated that. And also Kayla Hamilton, who was brutally raped and murdered by a cartel member. Her mother came and spoke to us. She didn't deport him either. You let him in the country. You, Mr. Secretary, have allowed over 10 million illegals, probably higher than that, could be closer to 15 million, we don't know, to invade our country. You've allowed the cartels to make billions and billions. As a matter of fact, you're probably the best business partner they could ever have.
Okay. Now, you see how the tempo is being brought up and the excitement starts. Right now, she's called them for treason, right? She hasn't said you're a bad manager yet, but nobody ever says it to the three-letter agencies that they're bad in management. Because what the hell? You put him there, didn't you, sweetheart? Did you vote for him? Did you confirm him? What's your part in this? But I'm with you. These three-letter agencies are out of control, and these people that are involved should be voted out. So, people, here we are with 1 minute left. Where does this go? Like the serials from the 1950s and 60s that we would see just before the movie in the movie theater. She has 1 minute to go. Will she hold Mayorkas to the fire and put him out of a job?
They make all this money in human trafficking and drug trafficking at our border. You've allowed approximately 300 Americans to be murdered every single day from fentanyl that comes across our border. And now you're aiding NGOs to steal our elections through your budget. I demand proof of citizenships in our elections, and that is something every single member of Congress should care about. We don't need illegal aliens voting in our elections. We're supposed to be here talking about your budget, but we're talking about how money is being used to make sure people come into our country are able to get a social security number in which they can register to vote. And on that note, Mr. Mayorkas, I demand that Chuck Schumer holds your impeachment trial in the Senate.
Okay. So, this Republican and the Democratic-led Senate is looking for a vote of impeachment. Let's see. We have 2 weeks to the election. In January, they install him. Why would anybody install the President of the United States on the East Coast in January? Are they stupid? That's another question. We could go down that. What about a dome? You know, a kind of plastic dome? Because let's face it, in January, weather isn't really good in. Well, that's another story. We could go down that road. All right, Marjorie, I'm going to give you the last, and you can say whatever you want. But people, vote, vote, vote. Then you have a dog in the fight. Then you have the right to vote them in and vote them out. Your voice is being heard each and every time you vote. So if you're not voting for whatever reason, I don't care. You're not doing your American duty. I don't know how many times this was drummed into my head in the 50s and 60s that the only thing you can do on election day, not election month, election day is vote. Oh, and then maybe get a good meal at the Legion or the Sons of Italy or the Moose. But, I digress. All right, Marjorie, clean it up. Tell us when you're going to have him escorted off the Capitol grounds. Like, subscribe, comment, send it to somebody that could use some bathroom time. I like all of you, some better than the others. All right, Tom Noetner, conversationalist. Let's finish this out. I'm almost scared, to tell you the truth, people. I'm thinking they're going to walk away hand in hand in the fog.
Because that's exactly what we should be focused on right now. Mr. Chairman, I yield the remainder of my time.
Wow, what a strong ending.